So I made a video yesterday about the rising unemployment rates amongst Black women, and the response that I got was definitely very alarming. There were a lot of negative comments, and most of these comments were really coming from Black men who were saying things like it's because Black women have bad attitudes, it's because DEI, it's because AI is taking over, and many of which just miss the whole thing, like who cares, nobody cares, it's time for Black women to be taken down a notch. And it was really alarming because the point of me posting that statistic was to get us to think critically about what's really happening. But instead, a lot of the comments were really more mean and almost conspiracy theory type comments. And so I really want to talk about it. So let's look solely at the numbers, because numbers are where we can at least hang our hat on and look at things quantitatively. So when we look at the American labor force or workforce, we see that it pretty closely mirrors the distribution by race of the American population. So what do I mean by that? So the American population, as of 2024, is comprised of 58% white, 19% Hispanic, 13% Black, 7% Asian. When we look at the workforce, you have a similar distribution of race. So in the workforce, with the exception that Hispanic and whites are often lumped into a single category. But when we look at the workforce, the total workforce, you'll find 74% is white and Hispanic, so it's combined, 13% Black or African American, and then 7% Asian. Now,
so essentially, what she had a conversation about was the fact that all of the layoffs, so the majority of layoffs during the latest jobs report, was primarily affecting women, and specifically Black women more than anything. And the reality is that the types of jobs and the types of degrees that these women have disproportionately affects them, that don't necessarily mirror whatever it is the general population is. So if you got 13% Black people, but then you have an over concentration of one specific group in one specific sector versus another sector that's not necessarily thriving because diversity, equity, and inclusion has been removed, and now you have to be merit based or the degrees that you selected. But then you combine that with the fact that Black women or women in general were bragging about the fact that they didn't need men and their degrees was going to sustain them and they don't care about it, and so student loans and all of this, and now they're starting to complain about the fact that they can't find jobs. It mirrors what people have been saying for a long time. Women are disproportionately affected by layoffs more than men.